Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. All right, guys, today I have a list here of 5 players that are about to explode this coming season. Now, it's going to be very fun to watch these guys break out, and I have very good reason to believe that they're all going to have monster fantasy seasons. So I'm going to start right here with the first player on my list, and that is Chris Olave. Now, it can be argued that we've already seen the Chris Olave breakout, right? He broke out as a rookie. Well, yeah, I mean, he did, but I'm talking about a serious breakout this coming season, like the kind of breakout where he could be a top 5 wide receiver in all of fantasy. Okay, so this is a guy who we know has sick athletic intangibles. We know how fast he is. We know that he can operate out of the slot or out wide because he's a very versatile, talented wide receiver. And he's going to be by far and away the number 1 wide receiver on the depth chart for the New Orleans Saints, who now have a gunslinging quarterback in Derek Carr to sling the rock to the wide receivers. On top of this, where's the competition for targets? I mean, we don't have an elite tight end. We don't have really any other wide receivers. The next wide receiver on the depth chart is Michael Thomas, who we know just absolutely and utterly cannot stay healthy. So I don't think anybody here thinks that Michael Thomas is going to play a full 17 games next year. Okay, so this means that Chris Olave should be projected for around a 30% team target share. He had a 26.7% target share last year. This is almost inevitably due to go up due to the fact that he's going into a sophomore season, and wide receivers they always see a significant bump in overall target share percentage when they go into their second season, especially considering the fact that he's already proven to be a very good wide receiver. The 40% air yards share last year was absolutely sick. They love throwing this dude the ball downfield, so he's going to receive a ton of deep targets. He has the opportunity to be a wide receiver that sees a plethora of games where he has more than 10 targets. So the PPR upside is through the roof. And I don't think this is necessarily going to be an elite offense, but with Derek Carr leading the offense, they'll at least be decent and be able to put some points on the board. So there is some touchdown upside for Chris Olave. He didn't get in the end zone enough last year. Look for the red zone targets to increase for Chris Olave this season because of having a better quarterback, and look for him to get in the end zone definitely more than 4 times. He's building off a 1,042 receiving yards season, so look for him to definitely outdo most of his numbers from last year. So I think this dude's really about to blow up and quite possibly be a top 5 wide receiver in all of fantasy. Next player on my list is going to be Kadarius Toney. Now, guys, Kadarius Toney, we really don't have a whole lot of statistics to go off of because, this dude really hasn't been able to stay healthy and on the field. And, as much as we like to avoid injury-prone players, this dude is very young. Okay, so I'm not just going to sit here and say, well, I'm already putting Kadarius Toney on the injury-prone list where he's just going to come out every season and only play 5 games and then be out for the rest of the year. I don't want to put that tag on him yet because, the dude is under the age of 25, okay? And on top of this, you're getting a player in Kadarius Toney in the later rounds, the way later rounds. He's going somewhere between picks 110 and 120 in the draft. So, gambling on his upside is okay because, if he happens to get hurt and be out for a significant chunk of the season or he doesn't produce the way we expect him to, well, no big deal, right? Because you got him in like the 10th or 11th round. So it's okay to gamble on upside even if the risk is pretty significant in that part of the draft. So he's an awesome pick for where he's being taken in the draft. He's a player that is going to be by far and away the most talented wide receiver and what's arguably the best offense in the NFL. Now, we know that Pat Mahomes loves to spread the ball around. This is an offense that outside of Travis Kelce, they never really present any sort of significant target share for their wide receivers. Even Tyreek Hill's target share was inconsistent when he was on the team, but you've got to figure that with really no other good wide receivers and the only elite pass catching player on the team being a tight end, Kadarius Toney's got to see a pretty significant bump in target share this year. I think he's going to see somewhere around 23-24% team target share. And considering the fact that he's getting that target share in a Chiefs offense, where a lot of those targets are probably going to be targets within the red zone due to his awesome contested catch abilities, I love this guy to break out this season. I think his upside is tremendously high. The ceiling is massive. Is he a risk? Yes, because of the injury risk and because of the fact that he probably presents a low weekly floor due to how much the team's going to spread the ball around, but the weekly ceiling is tremendously high. So due to the tremendously high weekly ceiling that he possesses, I'm going to take him in the later rounds and gamble on his upside because I think that he could potentially be a league winner. Next player on my list is going to be Justin Fields. Now, Justin Fields, last year, 7.1 yards a carry. He carried the ball 160 times. 28 of those carries were within the red zone. and he was second in the league in rushing yards with 1,143. This guy is an absolute monster with his legs, as we know. He's a complete athletic specimen. He's got a great arm. The passing numbers weren't great last year because, well, the offense just didn't function well as a whole as far as, passing efficiency. But you got to figure if they're going to bolster the offensive line, we're probably going to see that here in the upcoming draft. I would be very surprised if they did not at least draft some offensive linemen to help the overall efficiency of the offense. And on top of this, we now add a true wide receiver one in DJ Moore. So we've got a decent wide receiving core now. They're inevitably going to bolster the offensive line due to the fact that it's just the most important thing for them right now. So they'd be stupid not to. And so if this guy was able to average 7.1 yards a carry in this Bears offense last year that really didn't have a very good offensive line at all, he's going to run significantly. I don't want to say he's going to run better because it's hard to beat what he did last year with his legs. But it would make sense that if he was efficient as a runner last year, that he's going to be extremely efficient as a runner again. And now that he actually has some wide receivers to throw the ball to, he presents tremendous pass-catching upside as well. I've been talking about this dude all off-season. I think he has a pretty darn good chance to finish as the quarterback one overall. Next player on my list is going to be Darren Waller. Now, Darren Waller, the only reason that he's going later in drafts is, well, a few reasons. He's going to be above the age of 30 this year, and we haven't seen him play a full season in 2 seasons. But here's the deal. We can go back and look at Darren Waller, his 2020 season, 1,196 receiving yards. Okay, his 2019 season, 1,146 receiving yards, and he had this on only 877 air yards. So that just shows the elite run after catch abilities that this guy possesses. He is an absolute athletic specimen at 6'6", 250 pounds, runs a sub 4.5. This dude is an absolute freak of nature. There's a reason that he had those 2 extremely dominant fantasy seasons, and it's because he is one of the most talented players in this league. It's just that, the last 2 years, he's just been injured quite a bit. But he's now going over to a Giants offense that is starving for pass catchers. This is a team that went and got Darren Waller for a reason, because they needed an elite pass catcher to couple with, Saquon's elite rushing efficiency and pass catching efficiency out of the backfield. The fact of the matter is the entire offense has been running through Saquon, and really this last year with, through Daniel Jones running the ball. So they really had an absolute need to add elite pass catchers. That's the reason they went and got Darren Waller. This is a guy who's going to receive a ridiculous target share in this offense this season, and look for him to return to form to his 2019 and 2020 seasons as long as he can stay healthy and on the field. This dude's absolutely going to explode. The potential for him to be a top 3 tight end is certainly there, and you can get him later in the draft because people are sleeping on him because we have not seen him do anything in a while. Don't fall into the recency bias. This dude's still got it. He's not over the age cliff yet. He can still be dominant in his year 30 season. Look for him to explode this year. Next and final player on my list is going to be David Njoku. Now, this is a guy who we really haven't seen break out yet in his NFL career. He's still very new to the league, but last year, 80 targets, 58 receptions, 628 receiving yards, by far and away his best season as a tight end. And he did so with the quarterback situation, being kind of a mess. Now we insert Deshaun Watson, one of the best, most talented quarterbacks in the entire NFL, to sling David Njoku the rock. Okay, the numbers for all the pass catchers in this offense are going to explode this year. I've been talking about Amari Cooper all offseason. He is absolutely and utterly about to go off with Deshaun Watson as his quarterback because it's the best quarterback that he's ever had in his career, and it's Amari Cooper. Trust me, the upside is crazy there. The upside for this offense this year is best offense in the NFL. Hands down. I mean, they have maybe the best offensive line in the NFL. They have the best pure runner in the NFL in Nick Chubb. We now have in my opinion, top 3 quarterback in the entire NFL as far as just pure talent in Deshaun Watson. We have a wide receiver 1 in Amari Cooper, an elite, super athletic, pass-catching tight end in David Njoku. And this is why I'm so big on this offense, and this is why I'm so big on David Njoku. The touchdown upside is freakishly high. I think that he has an outside shot to have over 1,000 receiving yards this season as long as he can stay healthy. So as long as David Njoku can stay healthy, I think that he has the chance in this offense to have over 1,000 receiving yards, and look for him to have the potential to score 8 or 9 touchdowns. That possibility is certainly there because this team is going to be extremely efficient as far as their overall offense. And so this is going to give him plenty of scoring opportunities to go well with, his potential to have over 1,000 receiving yards. So All of these players that I have on this list, I have very good reason to believe are going to break out this year. Now, obviously, some of them are guys that have already broken out, like Darren Waller, but we just haven't seen them break out in a while, and so that's why I included him on this list. But all right, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Hope this video helped. Catch you later.